Holmes, forgive me for insisting, but don't you want to examine the fake jewelry?
Watson, I have an appointment, and it's out of the question that I arrive late.
It will only take you a couple of minutes. You really must quell the suspicions put forward in this appalling article. If you will allow me, Inspector?
Be my guest.
Very well.
Aw, Watson loves me. In a non-gay way. Maybe.
What should we do next, Holmes?
What do you think, Holmes?
What do I think about what?
This pearl is a different color.
This is kind of neat.
This pearl is too small. It is not in its place here. These 3 pearls are of poor quality. Too many defects. This necklace is a fake. This is nothing but a vulgar copy, and at a glance it would appear that the forger has intended for it to be seen as such.
How could we have been fooled by such a blatant imitation? I don't understand.
Yes, how is it possible? Holmes, do you have a theory about this?
I have absolutely no idea. You insisted that I examine the necklace, and I have done so. Now it is important that I keep my appointment. I'm sure, Inspector, that you will throw some light on this affair.
Holmes.
You may accompany me, Watson, if you care to do so.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll keep you informed as to my inquiries.
Goodbye, Inspector. You mentioned a bishop, didn't you? Are we going to his home?
Yes, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. I put his address on our map of London on my desk. Would you get it for me, please?
All right, Holmes.
I control Watson. Motherfucker.
The work table, where Holmes analyzes things. Holmes's homemade analyzer.
Yeah, analyzer of cocaine, damn it.
I have found your map.
Alright, let's go.
The police? Already? How did you know?
May we see the Bishop of Knightsbridge?
Yes. Yes, of course. But come in.
He did.
What has happened, Reverend?
What?
I don't know. It was last night, I think. I only just arrived, and I have made this macabre discovery. My God. How horrible. I haven't called anyone. How did you know that?
Oh, what the fuck
Holmes,
happened now?
look!
Shit.
Bishop, appallingly mutilated.
How dreadful.
Mutilated. And killed. He was such a good man. How could anyone be so brutal? Look at him. He is barely recognizable now. How could any of God's children be responsible for that?
They were evidently unworthy children, Reverend. Now do please try to calm yourself and focus, because we will need your assistance. Do you have any idea as to the motive behind this?
I haven't had time to do an inventory, but nothing appears to have been stolen. And anyway, His Excellency didn't own anything of great value. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Note this down, please, Doctor.
Doctor? But you aren't the police?
No, Reverend. I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson. We are here at the request of the Bishop.
In that case, I must ask you to leave, and not to touch anything. I must get in touch with the authorities without further delay.
Reverend, when the inspectors of Scotland Yard find themselves at a dead end, which they quite often do, I assure you, then they turn to me for help. If you will allow us to continue our investigation, then you shall have the answers to all of your questions.
Out of the question! I don't even know you! I'm going to call the police, whether you like it or not.
It would be better for everyone, Reverend, if you kept your temper. Watson, are you taking notes? This affair promises to be a complex one. Therefore, we must not overlook the slightest detail.
Yes, Holmes. I am keeping a meticulous set of notes. I have created a very clever deduction board. One thing we can be sure of at the moment is that this crime was not for gain. The Reverend has informed us that nothing valuable was stolen, and indeed, it would seem that the Bishop had nothing of any worth to take.
Very good, Watson. Do continue. This stove is filled to overflowing.
Burning papers. God damn. Ugh.
You can see by his expression that he suffered terribly.
His mouth is covered in blood, and I can make out strips of skin between his teeth.
His chest has been lacerated, I would say, with a very sharp and fine blade.
Isn't sharp and fine the same shit? That's it for up here. Damn, what the fuck?
These burns are terrible.
His feet have been burned.
My first impression is that he wears a size 9 shoe.
You? But what does it matter, Holmes?
A finger. Apparently it doesn't belong to the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
What the fuck?
How dreadful.
A piece of rope that was used to tie up that poor man.
This poor man was tied just below the knees.
To stop him from walking, certainly, but mostly to free his feet.
Is that it? Is that everything? I guess so. Oh wait, what the fuck?
The fingers have been crushed and violently struck.
My God, Holmes, this man was horribly tortured.
What the shit?
The fingers have been crushed and violently
Oh.
struck.
His stomach is covered in scratches. Quite evidently, they weren't made recently.
So, these wounds were not made by his murderers.
Was that some S&M shit? What the fuck?
His forearms have been ripped. Pieces of skin have been torn off. What do you think, Watson?
I'd say that he was eaten alive. Yet I've noticed a curious degeneration of the skin tissue around the wounds.
My dear friend, everything points to this man having gnawed at his own forearms.
That's unbelievable, Holmes.
What the fuck is wrong with shit? Is that it? I mean, this isn't... I've seen dead bodies before,
Something
but
is
God
missing
damn.
here.
Oh, yes? And what might that be?
His shoes. Watson, his shoes are missing. A bottle of whiskey. I can make out fingerprints stained with blood and dirt.
A broken bottle of whiskey. However, the Bishop of Knightsbridge was known for his sobriety. It would seem that the brutes who tortured the bishop to death were intoxicated with alcohol.
There is blood on this paperweight. This paperweight was used to crush the victim's fingers.
What the fuck is wrong with these people?
A broken file and blood near the neck.
What a strange smell. Chemical components, I think.
Let's see the deduction reward. Yeah, I don't have reason to say anything about that yet. They probably did make him drink the shit.
It's a cilice designed to bruise the person wearing it. The bishop wore it as repentance.
A whip?
No, it is a discipline for self-flagellation. This very pious man must have had the habit of mortifying his flesh as a means of repentance.
Oh shit, what's this?
Impossible to open it. Impossible to open it. These traces reveal that the thieves tried to open this chest. Impossible to open it. Reverend, I'm missing something, an implement with which to open this chest. Could you tell me where to find it?
No! Go to the devil!
What are you
Fuck
afraid
you.
of, Reverend? What is inside the chest?
I'm not afraid of anything. In fact, I do have the necessary implements, but if I have to give them to anyone, it will be to a representative of the law and no one else.
Piece of shit bastard. I'm trying to help.